do you want to just hold fire for a few minutes? And then we're good to go. This is quite an ambitious afternoon on Microsoft Teams, I have to say. Ursa is acquiring its own digital platform, which we're hoping will be much more efficient and effective. But we do our best with Microsoft for now.
The webinar thing go on.
Okay, I think everybody's on and we're recording, Aaron. So would you like to go first and tell us about Jobs 22?
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Fabulous. That's a good start. Well, Elizabeth, I think you're setting some sort of record for me this afternoon. I don't think I've ever spoken to 173 people virtually ever. So I have a captive audience, and thank you for arranging this afternoon, Ursa, and also I'm not sure how I got top of the pops, but thanks for letting me kick off the conversation this afternoon. So, look, it's a real pleasure actually to be on this call today, and I just want to recognise I'm in very impressive company with the winners of the CAEHRS Framework contracts, and Jobs 22. We're under no illusions that we're going to have to be at our very best to be competitive, because we have a very strong set of providers that are winners. So we are one of those new organisations that are coming on board in terms of delivering DWP contracts. And although I know a lot of people on this call, and I've been knocking around the ridges now for 11, 12 years in the UK, came up here in the FND days. So we're both a mix of old and new. What is Jobs 22? Well, it's a joint venture company that has been formed specifically and was formed specifically to bid for the CAEHRS Framework. And we are owned, Jobs 22 is owned by parents, and they are Catch 22, a UK charity, not-for-profit, operating in England and throughout the UK. The Angus Knight Group, which is an Australian human services organisation that has business throughout Australia across skills, employability and community services. And also the Better Health Generation, which is a health and wellbeing company owned and led by Dr. Kylie Henderson, who I'm sure a lot of people on this conference will know of as well. So what we've tried to do with this mix of ownership is bring the best of the for-profit commercial world and the not-for-profit voluntary sector, social sector to the table. And I guess the best way to summarise what we're trying to achieve as a business, Jobs 22, is profit with purpose. I think that sums it up as succinctly as possible. So we want to add economic and social value to the equation that we're facing in terms of UK and unemployment as it's heading down the tunnel towards us. We've been specifically put together, as I say, to get on the CAEHRS Framework, and we've been very fortunate to win Tier 1 places in Central England and in Wales, and Tier 2 in the Northeast, Southern England and London and the home counties. We're very pleased with that result, and as a new entrant, we couldn't be happier to be given the opportunity to certainly operate at Tier 1 level in two substantial markets within the UK. We think that the environment we're going to be all operating in is going to be particularly challenging and unique, really, where there's going to be large amounts of unemployment. There's going to be a lot of displaced people who are going to probably not be able to find jobs in the sectors that they've been previously in. And there's going to be a lot of work around managing people's direction of travel and also their health and well-being in terms of the business and the direction that people are going in. As part of the CAEHRS bid, we put out a call for expressions of interest for suppliers for our business and for any delivery we're doing. And we had over 300 expressions of interest, and a lot of those organisations are on this call this afternoon, and we'll be reaching out to you very shortly in terms of next steps and where we're going. I guess we're all waiting for clarity from DWP about what will be happening, but we're very excited about that. And in terms of our supply chain, we're looking, it's very difficult to be accurate and specific here because we don't quite know what we're going to be asked to deliver. But what we do know is old orthodoxies and the way things historically have been delivered in terms of employment services, I think we have to have a fresh look at that. I think things that have happened as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic in terms of how we operate and the challenges that bring, we in Jobs 22 certainly want to bring a new approach to how we partner with organisations. We certainly want to be looking at high collaboration, but not necessarily what we would have thought in the past. So it's all about truly partnering, truly bringing out the best of all the organisations we deal with and trying to make sure that we're all aligned to deliver a service and an outcome for both our commissioners and also the customers that come through our door. We're really excited about what's coming up. We think we bring a fresh set of approaches to what will be a very difficult problem for us, and we hope to be a contributor not just to the customers and our specific contracts and what we're delivering, but be a broader citizen within the sector and the community, and obviously add value to us all as we go forward. I think that's quite enough from me.
Right.
We've got a lot to go through, so thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. If we move over to Pinnacle, we'll take the first group and then we'll open it up to questions. So, Pinnacle.
Hi there. Just to clarify, it's Claire Coper from Pinnacle and my colleague Emma from People Plus who will introduce herself. So firstly, to say really that we're delighted to be here, to be on the Tier 1, feel like we're in illustrious company. So just for those of you on the call, we've been shortlisted in London and the home counties, the North East, Central, Southern, and in Tier 2 in Wales. I should also say that the reason we're standing up is that we've come into the office so that we could do this together on a single computer, but trying to do it in a way that's both socially distanced and works on my laptop's monitor means that we're standing up. So apologies for that slightly strange visual, but we thought best to explain. So I'm Claire Cover, I'm Managing Director of Homes at Pinnacle Group. As I say, Emma's a colleague. We're here working together jointly as PORTRUS. Wanted to introduce you to PORTRUS to tell you a little bit about why it is that we've come together, the way that we're looking to work together through these lots, to introduce you to our approach, and really to reach out to anybody that's interested in having a conversation with us. If you feel that having heard us speak, that you share our values and our ethos and you would be interested in speaking to us, then we'd like to invite you to do so. So firstly, a little bit about Pinnacle Group. I'm Managing Director of our Homes division, and we across the company, we run a whole range of community assets where we provide services, be that from homes, as in my division. We work in schools, in many other community assets, as well as providing things like broadband and power networks. So we do a huge range of things. We've also been a trusted partner of DWP since 2008 through our Pinnacle People business, which I oversee. And through that work, we've worked with over 100,000 people, supporting them into employment or to start up businesses. If I had to sum up what we do, I would say that at the heart of it, we support communities, we support individuals within those communities, and we support communities in a way that brings value and long-term value to those communities in any way that we can. We have a staff team of 2,800 people working across the country. In my own division, we're managing directly about 27,000 mixed tenure homes and providing services across the wider business to about 300,000 households. Across all of our work, what unites it is our determination to assist people, to empower them to make positive life changes through lasting employment and wellbeing opportunities. And by providing the sort of innovative solutions that we feel the market so desperately needs at this time. I'm now going to turn to Emma, who will provide you an introduction to People Plus Australia and also to PORTRUS.
Thanks, Claire. Thank you. Nice to be here. Thank you, Elizabeth and URSA team. Yes, I'm here from People Plus Australia. Many of you may know that up until about 4 years ago, or more than 4 years ago, our company was a division of the Staffline People Plus UK group, but we have been 100% privately owned in Australia for more than 4 years now. And are delighted to be here as a Tier 1 provider in partnership with the Pinnacle Group, who we could not have been more delighted to have met. We have a successful track record in Australia of delivering employment, education and training, welfare, community services, justice, disability, refugee, Indigenous, and I think I've probably missed a few service delivery areas. And we feel that innovation and insightful customer delivery is only possible when you're embedded in local communities and you listen to the insights and the knowledge of those people. And that is why PORTRUS, our partnership with Pinnacle Group, has been very natural and very easy because of their best-in-class community service delivery that is deeply embedded in communities across the UK. So portrus.co.uk, you're going to be hearing a lot more from us over the coming years on the framework. I think at the moment it couldn't be more important to have a values-driven partnership such as the one that we're having with Pinnacle Group in this global crisis that's had such upset and turmoil on labour markets. The value that we have with the Pinnacle Group is going to assist people succeed in placing them into employment. So I'm delighted to be here working on this framework here in the UK.
So if you like what you've heard, if you want to talk to us, then firstly, we need to ensure that you sort of share our ethos, and if you do, we'd love to hear from you. This for us isn't about making a quick return, it's about making a difference through partnership working. And at the heart of that is mutually respectful partnership. And we recognise that many of you have the expertise, the local knowledge and your own networks that we'd like to speak to you about. We would want to listen, we would want to work alongside you and learn from that knowledge. We believe that performance and delivery is a shared responsibility. Again, we've used the word partnership, and that's something that we believe in wholeheartedly. So if you'd like to speak to us, if you'd like to hear more, then we would love to have a conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we move on now to Chris Harrison from Seetec Pluss, please?
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. You throw me there by bringing me in out of the order that you introduced us. So apologies for the slow response time from me this afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. I'm Chris Harrison, as Elizabeth says, the Executive Director for Employability within Seetec Group. Excuse me. I must caveat that I tried to time this so that there would be no background noise bombs from children and dogs, but they've all returned on cue to my house. Apologies if there is any background noise. So I really welcome the opportunity to come in and do a whistle-stop overview of Seetec's employability division and what our current aspirations around the CAEHRS opportunity are. It's a nice welcome pause from business as usual, because we're in week 3 of the new work and health programme JETS expansion in the southern England, which is going to see us support over 50,000 people in the next 12 months and having in excess of 100 new colleagues started in the past 3 weeks and another 50 something due to start next week. It's pretty busy at the minute, and as Aaron said earlier, really exciting times on a lot of levels, both current delivery and future opportunity. So by way of a quick bit of background on who we are, the the overall mission, I think, trying to sum it up, for us as a business, is to be the leading provider of work and wellbeing services that enable people, businesses, communities to thrive. Whether this is as a prime provider, as a partner, or a subcontractor, that rings true through everything we deliver. Ctec itself, we have a strong history of employability program delivery, including the likes of work program, work choice, but also in the group, in our other divisions, we run a number of other key contracts in sectors or geographies, including the 4 probation contracts. We manage one of 2 prime providers of job path employability in the Republic of Ireland, and numerous apprenticeships and skills contracts nationally. I'm here obviously to focus on the employability element, but the partnerships route that I'm going to point people to at the end of this monologue will also provide you with access you need into those parts of the business, and I'm more than happy to facilitate introductions to colleagues, wider colleagues as well, because there's an awful lot going on in all of those sectors. So Seetec Pluss Limited is the organisation that you'll see on the CAEHRS Framework. It's actually one of 2 businesses within our employability division. The other being Plus Community Interest Company, another name that many of you on the call will be very familiar with, which is a voluntary community sector organisation which came into our group in April of 2019. Between the 2 businesses, we deliver a really diverse range of contracts, from supported learning disability internships in Derriford Hospital in the southwest, through to work and health programme and JETS prime contracts, as I mentioned earlier on. Also, we're a subcontractor to our colleagues in Ingeus on work and health programme and JETS in the northwest, delivering about 20% of the contracts for them and in partnership with them, and are a subcontractor on the Greater Manchester work and health programme contract too. The final piece of Ctec Pluss are the subcontracts that we deliver to Reed in partnership in the east of England. Plus KIC, just to quickly talk about the KIC, because we're bidding the framework as Ctec Pluss, but obviously the Plus Community Interest Company, with its retained CIC status and as a separately governed business, comes to as part of the group with 45 years or more experience of supporting people with health conditions, disabilities into work. In that part of the business, we're the largest provider in the country of the big lottery Building Better Opportunities programmes, with 5 UK prime contracts, 2 in Cornwall, 1 Devon, 1 Somerset, and 1 up in Yorkshire. And there's also a subcontract with Reed in there as well. We deliver a number of specialist learning disability mental health services through for Plymouth City Council, and run a number of community-based commercial operations there from those contracts, including recycling, garden maintenance, woodwork, and even a couple of factories that make bed frames in Barnstaple and Plymouth for a large global customer called Vicepring, who make luxury high-end beds, which their top end can retail for over £100,000 a pop. And if I'd said to anyone on the call a couple of years ago I'd be on an URSA call talking about a DWP framework and linking it to making bed frames, I would probably laughed. So those contracts really, rich mix. They range from a few £1,000s through to newly procured JETS contracts up towards 40 million. I've mentioned a lot of the commissioners, but just to quickly reference subcontracting as part of this remit. So I don't know how common knowledge it is out there, but we subcontract out over 40% of the contracts I've just run through. And as with the contracts, there's a very diverse range of partners in there, from the 20 strong supply chain in BBO, the vast majority of which are VCSE, through to larger prime colleagues in our work and health programme delivery. So really interested in maintaining and developing and building on that real rich mix of partners and contracts that we have. Last couple of points, I think, just to stress the commitment we have in this space, in this sector, to innovate to provide the best solutions we can to support our participants. We're really fortunate that the JETS program has given us an opportunity to trial new digital technology to really enhance self-service for participants, to support remote case management for employment advisors. We've invested in digital trainers to support participants, staff, employers alike. And hopefully many of you will have seen the support and collaboration with IEP to develop and make available some of the key tools we have, including induction modules to support the not just our own staff and supply chain partners, but the industry as a whole. So we've got our 4 places on the CAEHRS framework in the 4 lots we bid for. Really pleased to have done so. It means we can build on the existing footprints we have in all of those areas and really continue to support the communities we currently work with and within. So a tier 1 provider in the southwest, tier 2 in London and home counties and the northwest, and in a slightly different but equally exciting approach is a tier 2 in the northeast in a strategic partnership with our colleagues at StandGuide, who we have a strong track record of delivering high performing, high quality contracts. So closing message on partnering, really keen to talk to potential prime and subcontractor partners who share our values, ethos, our approaches and aspirations in the regions. Our national partnerships team are also working through in excess of a few hundred expressions of interest that came as part of the CAEHRS framework. If you have put an expression of interest in there, we are more than midway through making sure each of those applications is met with a friendly voice on the end of the phone, so you don't need to reply if you have already done so. And as part of the wash up of these presentations, we'll be able to put out the partnership opportunities portal email address that will support you to apply for an interest in working with us. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's my.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Sorry for springing that on you. I got the order on. Can we move over now to Colin Koski from Serco, please?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Yeah, Colin Koski here from Serco. I'm the Managing Director of the Employability and Skills Programs within Serco. And joining me is my colleague, Brian Walsh, who is the Business Development Director. So we have a presentation, by the way, which we'll post up onto LinkedIn, so you can go through this in some detail. But let me just go through some key points about who Serco is and what we do, and then talk about how we hope to work with people in the CAEHRS call-off. We're a reasonably large business. We exclusively work for the government, but we work as an outsourcer, and we work across multiple sectors. 50,000 employees, about £3.5 billion turnover, 500 contracts worldwide. About half our business is in the UK, half is outside the UK. I guess the question that you can ask there is, well, so what? What does that mean to me as a potential partner of Serco? Well, I'm going to say a few things. First of all, we bring a certain degree of size and security to supply chains. We bring experience of mobilizing, for example, large-scale, complex contracts across, large areas and involving a lot of people. And then we have connections. We have connections with stakeholders, and we have connections with central government, for example, that perhaps other providers don't have. So that's what those are the advantages that the size and the capabilities of Serco can bring to a supply chain and to us working together. Within the employability and skills sector, we very much see employability and vocational skills as two sides of the same coin, and we think that this surge in unemployment will require a greater level of skills intervention in order to get people back to employment because of the level of structural unemployment that we're currently seeing. So that is a key attribute that we bring again to partners, because we have as much skills business in essence as we have employability business, and we want to see participants having a seamless journey back to sustained employment, probably by using an extensive amount of our skills network that we have. We have continued to work inside the employability sector over the last few years. We have a troubled families contract in London, and we have managed that both through supply chain but also through direct delivery, which gives us real live current experience of what it's like out there. Final point before I hand over to Brian is how do we, how are we going to work together with supply chain partners? What are we looking for from supply chain partners? Now, Brian's going to go through this in a bit more detail, but the thing that really stands out for me is the need for people to commit. We're looking for genuine commitment from supply chain partners to improve the job seeker journey, to continuously improve, to share information. It's that genuine commitment to getting it right for the job seeker. That is a key element that we're looking for from potential supply chain partners. So let me hand over to my colleague, Brian Walsh.
Thanks, Colin, and good afternoon, everyone. As Colin said, I'm just going to go through quickly what we're looking for potentially from supply chain partners and how we see Serco and our supply chain partners working together. So I think there's probably 4 key areas really that we're looking to focus on from our supply chain and our partners. Clearly, there's challenges ahead, and what we're looking for is people that have that strong track record of providing employment and health-related services, but also with securing sustainable employment outcomes for those participants. We're looking to innovators or those organisations that perhaps have relatively new, should we say, to this sector and this market, and who have a different approach to how we support and work with those participants. We are also looking for strategic partners who can help us design and develop services that we will be delivering through the CAEHRS framework. And coming back to Colin's point, we're looking for all partners really to have a genuine commitment to improving the participants' journey to work, sharing best practice and driving continuous improvement. In terms of how we want to work with partners, well, I think a key theme that is coming out both from the department and across the sector is the need for greater collaboration. And we believe that is the best approach really to working with our supply chain partners. And I suppose the approach that we want to take forward through CAEHRS and subsequent call-off contracts is thinking about how or what some of the initial challenges are that we're going to face in the immediate future with the post-COVID economy that we are encountering. And we want to probably share some of those initial challenges with our supply chain partners, and coming back to that theme of collaboration, work with you to try and overcome some of those challenges. And some of the, suppose, key ones that we see and we believe that we will face as a sector moving forward are, how do we secure opportunities for participants in that post-COVID economy? How do we help capacity build partners in the sector? And I think one of the things that I would like to see is supply chain partners actually telling us what primes should be doing to support them. So instead of us actually, suggesting or perhaps putting forward what we think you might need, you actually coming to us with what you feel you need to be able to capacity build. Integrating services, I think, is going to be another key theme that we want to focus on. How do we ensure that we don't duplicate what other services are already out there? So any ideas and suggestions on how you work to integrate services currently would be welcomed from Serco. Again, driving continuous improvement and innovation, I think, is another key theme. And so we would ask partners out there that have got, good track record in terms of how they continuously improve, and more importantly, how they innovate to come forward. We believe changing participants' behaviours and potentially even providing choice to participants is going to be key moving forward, and something that we want to put into our solutions and our services through the CAEHRS framework. And coming back to a point that Cole made previously, understanding the needs of what will be, we think, new customer groups that will come as a result of COVID-19. So in terms of how to get in touch, I think there's probably a number of partners that are on this session that have perhaps already completed and expressed an interest this year as we've moved through the procurement for CAEHRS. But we have got a dedicated web page on our website which we will share with everyone. Just sort of high level, if someone wants to make a note of it, it's www.serco-ese.com/CAEHRS. All we're asking for at this stage is just to register your interest in working with us, and then we've got a CAEHRS team that is working in terms of engaging with supply chain partners and reaching out to them to have further discussions and conversations. That's it from me. Liz, I'll hand back.
Right, thank you, Brian. So we're now at the point where we can take questions for the first group. I did see somebody's hand raised and then it went down. Don't know whether that was an error, but if you'd like to ask a question, would you raise your hand now? Mark, your hand raised. Do you want to come in? I see you only as Mark, so please introduce yourself.
Hello. Sorry, did we catch all of the speakers? Were all of the introductions made?
I think we've missed me.
We've missed a very, very important person there.
I apologise for this. Right,
That's all
I'm
right.
sorry. I'm really sorry.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for coming in, Mark. Sinead, apologies.
That
You'll
is
get more
all right.
impact from that. Please
I
go.
will, won't I? I've got a notice. Thank you, Mark. So, hi everybody. My name is Sinead Mcgill. I'm a managing partner at Palladium, and I'm really pleased to be here today to tell you a little bit about us. We're pleased to be on the CAEHRS Framework. We secured a Tier 2 place on the National, Central, Northwest, and Southern England lots. And we're just keen to get started with the unemployment crisis that clearly the country's facing. It's precisely the type of complex, human, difficult problem that Palladium we're used to addressing and passionate about addressing. So a wee bit about us. Our core purpose is to deliver a positive social and economic impact for the communities we work with. We've been doing this for over 50 years, and today we work in 90 countries worldwide on some of the most complex issues facing the world. So, you know, if you take from health systems strengthening in Nigeria to reopening economies after COVID, we're involved across the board. On the unemployment front, I think there are three examples that sort of spring to mind that I wanted to share with you from across the globe. In India, we recently undertook one of the largest agri-skilling programs in the country. We upskilled over 260,000 people in just less than a year and a half. In fact, it made it into the Guinness Book of Records. This was possible thanks to collaboration between ourselves and two Indian organisations who worked with us in curriculum development and skills assessment. We're also working with the Dutch government on a challenge fund for youth employment, where we're matching 200,000 young men and women with decent employment opportunities across Africa and the Middle East. And the focus there is on jobs that offer stable income, social protection, and safe working conditions. And the last example is in South Africa, where we're working with the Department for Small Business Development to help SMEs drive inclusive, sustainable economic employment. And we're looking also at creating a data platform which enables those SMEs to access better support services. And our goal is to have a 5-fold increase in SMEs accessing support from 10,000 per annum to 50,000 per annum. So it's a big reach. We cannot do anything, any of the things we do across the world and in the UK alone, and we don't pretend to have all of the answers. Rather, in every single project, we co-design solutions with partners. Today, we're working with 700 partners. They include voluntary organisations, government agencies, cooperatives, employers, SMEs, education institutions, partners like yourselves. In each of those cases, our goal is to strengthen our partners' capacity by building their skills and knowledge, but also by making connections between partners so that lessons can be learnt and can be shared properly across the sector. I think we all agree that the jobs crisis we're facing today is more challenging than most of us have ever seen. And it's very clear to us that old solutions will not address new problems. Our goal is to work in a collaborative way to come up with innovative solutions that we believe are better come from collaboration with partners than by going solo. At Palladium, we're not new to working on big social and economic challenges. And I think one of the things that defines us is our challenges often shift quickly and require really agile, localized solutions. We as a business were founded in 1965, originally under the name of Gun Rural Management, and the goal was to create livelihoods in Asia and Pacific. But through a series of organic growth and mergers, we started to spread across continents and broadened our reach to include economic growth, governance, employment, data solutions. We became a trusted partner to the Australian, the UK, and the American governments. And by 2018, we'd become one of the largest suppliers to the UK's Department for International Development. But in the last few years, we've been realizing that real change requires new solutions. And we started entering into the space of impact investing. Just last month, we formed a new partnership with an organization called Bamboo Capital Partners. And together with Bamboo, we are planning to mobilize $1 billion of capital by 2023 with the sole purpose of improving the lives of marginalized communities. So today, through CAEHRS, our aim is to find ways to combine our strengths with those of our partners, to explore the spaces where together we can bring in fresh ideas built on evidence and local know-how. We're looking for organisations that bring that expertise, but who aren't afraid to experiment. We want diversity, we want innovative thinkers, people who are thinking ahead to the challenges of tomorrow rather than looking back at what we've done before. And to achieve all of that, to benefit from local expertise, to use evidence and to encourage innovation, for us, it's key in all of our projects to make our partners true partners, co-delivering alongside us, giving you the space to lead where your expertise and presence are most relevant, but by providing you also with the support to drive, really, really systemic change. We've been delighted to have engaged with loads of you over the expression of interest phase. We've been overwhelmed by the response. And we've been collaborating with lots of you over the last couple of weeks, and we look forward to this being the start of a long journey with many of you. Thanks to everybody. And I'll hand back to Elizabeth.
Thank you, Sinead, and apologies for not bringing
That's
you
all
in.
right.
I couldn't see you on the, yeah, okay. Right, so I know that Mandy has raised a hand to ask a question. So I'll let Mandy go first, and then anybody else, please raise your hand now.
Afternoon, everyone. It's just, I saw a couple of chats coming up anyway with what I wanted to say. It's mainly how to contact people who are saying, we've got the expression of interest links that go out, and we've obviously utilised those, but for some of the speakers, is there going to be contact details or email addresses at the end where we can get in touch directly with you guys, or is it purely through the process of the links on the EOI?
I'm very happy to provide Ursa with some specific contact details that people can contact Jobs 22 directly and not necessarily through our website. Either way, that was fine.
I'm happy to do either. I just wanted to know what's the best route, because obviously I think one of the earliest speakers, Claire, was saying get in touch with us. But I didn't know if that was a direct invitation or purely through the website.
Maybe we could put it in the chat box, couldn't we? We
Yeah.
could each put the email addresses in the chat box and everybody could see them.
If you put it in the chat box, Ursa can leave that running after the event so people can go back and look. We will also collate those and put them out, but that will be early next week. So
All right.
Use the chat box today.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Laura Street, I can see you've raised your hand.
Hi, yes, thanks. Just a question to Serco. We submitted an expression of interest to them way back in February 2020, obviously prior to their bids going in and then prior to the award of contracts, but we haven't heard anything back. So I just wondered, is there now a new process we need to go through to express interest now that they have been successful, or can we expect to hear from that previous one that we submitted?
Hi Laura, thanks for that. No, we can use the information that you submitted in February, and we can take it up from there.
Just to add to that, Laura, we have a team now that are reaching out to suppliers that have completed an EOI, so you should hear something from us in the next week or so.
That's great. Thanks, gentlemen.
Hey, got any more questions from Group 1, or shall we move on to Group 2? Oh, Suzanne, would you like to come in?
Just a very quick one to say that I know you mentioned putting stuff in the chat box, but I can't see a chat box for some reason. I think it's not enabled for everybody.
I suspect we have so many people on the call that Teams isn't letting this happen. I go on the youth employment group meetings, and once they seem to get everybody on the call, the chat box drops off. So we will cope with this one way or another at the CAEHRS team after the event. We'll reach out to everybody who's spoken.
I don't want to be missing a chat box and missing contact details, that's all.
I can see it, but I do know from my experience at the youth employment group with a big number on Teams, that does seem to happen. So apologies, beyond our control, unfortunately. I can see one more hand raised, and then we'll move on to Group 2, and that's Matthew Forsyth.
Hi there, thanks to all the speakers. It would just be good to know, and actually for all future speakers, to know what the process is beyond here. So whether or not each prime's going to close kind of their own supplier chain, or whether it's open throughout the whole kind of, is it 5 years for CAEHRS? And also how we can secure a place on that framework.
Okay, does anybody want to respond?
Well, I would say each call off from the framework will be probably different and may require a different set of potential suppliers and supply chain members for each prime provider, potentially. So our expectation is that we would be looking for each call off for partners to deliver that call off.
Yeah, very similar for us as well at Ctec. I've just put the link up for our partnering portal, but our program of supply chain partnership working, consultation, design is, as Aaron said, it's on it would be on a program by program basis, but equally every program pretty much that we run as a prime provider has a mechanism baked into it for flexibility within delivery in the form of, the innovation pots or looking at opportunities to bring partners into flex over delivery, and certainly on assuming it is a 5-year program, baking in that flexibility to respond to changing participant needs within it is something I think most primes will do, but ours is through the link and then real human, as we're doing now with the EOIs we've had. We'll be in touch and start to build those relationships and a better verbal understanding of businesses, and then program by program we'll go from there.
Yes, I would agree with what the others said. It aligns with ours. I suppose the only thing I'd add is if you're doing something, everybody's business changes and everybody's organisation changes so fast in a fast-moving context like this. So if you've got new insights, new thoughts, new capability, keep that conversation going. Give us a call. Let us know if something's changed or if you've got a great idea that you want to share. Open to that ongoing conversation.
Yeah, I'd just say the same from Serco as well. That's precisely, as the other speakers have said, how we would be approaching this.
Right, so thank you to Group 1.